Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching or listening from. My name is Darien J. This is the Social Sessions. So, welcome to my little studio. I'm here in not so sunny Brighton, UK. I just had a very large roast dinner with some friends, so feeling very plump and satisfied. So, welcome to the stream. Every month, second Sunday of the month, I like to just get online and share some thoughts on what I'm doing and the creative process in general from an artist, electronic artist perspective. Make some music, talk about making music, have a little jam, that kind of thing. Nothing particularly too technical. For those kind of things, there are lots of YouTube channels out there. Easy Bot's a great one for Elektron stuff. Ricky Tinez for Elektron stuff and other stuff. Those guys are really, really good. So here, it's more about, how do you get yourself to do it all the time, every day, for years on end. I'm just going to bring up some notes here. So I've been making music, playing music for a long time now. Coming up to 30 years, believe it or not. And just gonna put some background. Close to 30 now. I've been playing and making music, and to do that for a long time, you kind of need to get some habits in place, because otherwise it's incredibly difficult to keep it going. I know a lot of people, and I had a lot of friends. I still have a lot of friends, but I had a lot of friends who were DJs, are DJs, did make music, or do make music, but quite a lot of them fallen by the wayside. They've let their life get in the way, and they're not able to continue with the music, especially not at the level of effort they were when they were younger, but also not with the consistency. Now, consistency is a superpower in itself. That's another topic of conversation, topic of discussion, I should say. But to keep making music, to keep doing it, that's key. That's what we're talking about here. And what people tend to do is put a lot of pressure on getting into the studio. Yes, hello Gareth, mate. At least you're watching. Not for long, I should imagine. So they put a lot of pressure getting into the studio. Like, we've got to get into the studio, got to spend hours in the studio, got to make an amazing tune, make some amazing tunes. And they get in there or I've done it myself, but you get in there and you tinker away for hours on end, and end up with a disappointing result. At the time, sometimes you think it's amazing, but then you listen back a couple of days later and realise it's not really that good, is it? And you feel like you've wasted that time. You haven't, obviously, because you've learned something from that time. But because it's, if you're lucky, once a week, once every couple of weeks, it's not enough to build any kind of momentum. It's not enough to progress and improve enough to keep it going and to give you enough feedback to feel good about the effort you've put in. Because at the end of the day, you have to put the effort in, and if you don't put the effort in, nothing happens. But if you do put the effort in and you get nothing back for it, or you feel like you get nothing back for it, then it's very demoralizing, and it's very difficult to do that again. So you need some kind of external input to inspire you, as they say, to inspire you to do it again. So how do you get past that? Well, you find time, you make time, but you make a small amount of time. So I've been making music for nearly 30 years. Well, I've been playing music for nearly 30 years, but making music for, I don't know, 15, 20, something like that, I don't know. And some of that time I didn't, some of that time nothing happened. And some of that time I struggled massively, so I didn't make anything. But getting back into it and trying again always happened at some point, because without music I didn't feel like I could work for anything. So having that music there, making that music, or trying to make music, trying to get good at it, that keeps me going. So when you've got a full-time job, when you've got a partner, and a lot of people have kids, I don't have kids, but obviously most people do, not most people, some people do. My age, seems to be everyone does. So you feel that you don't have the time. So if you're up and you're working, and then you've got your normal stuff you've got to do in the day, how do you sit down for hours on end and make music? Well, I'll say you don't. You create 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever you can spare. I mean, to start with, I was doing an hour a day, and I was having to do an hour a day after work. So I'd get home, I'd say hi to my other half, make a cup of tea, go into the studio, or go into the spare room, into the studio, and sit there for an hour and try my best to make some music. And I did that for quite a long time, but realised that was my whole day gone. By the time I finished that, have something to eat, time for bed, go back to work. So for quite some time now, it's been about getting up in the morning early and doing 10 minutes every day. Now, with the hardware setup I have, which I'll show you here. Oh, where's my controls? There you go. So, this hardware setup, I can switch it on, it's ready to go. I can start making something straight away. With the computer, that takes more time. You've got to switch the computer on, you've got to wait for it to load up. You can then load up your program that you work with. I use Ableton as well. I use Ableton, only Ableton for a very long time. Use that, and then, so that takes some more time. So this allows me to do 10 minutes. So if you are working on a computer, maybe allow yourself a little bit more time. Put the computer on first, go and do something else, come back. But put that 10 minutes in. If you're making music, 10 minutes. If you're not making music, if you're doing something else, any other creative pursuit, then put some time in with that. Writing, my other half writes, so 10 minutes a day writing. You can become pretty damn good at that if you do it for long enough. So that's my thing. First thing for today is basically just a little bit every day. It goes a long way. So much better than trying to cram it in all in one go. Unless of course you are fortunate enough to be able to go into somebody else's studio. If you have a friend who has a studio and they want to work with you, then great, get in there and spend as much time as you can in there, because you're going to learn a lot from them. You'll get some stuff done. Or if you can, you pay for an engineer, pay to go into someone's studio and make music with someone who actually knows what they're doing. That's the other way. And then the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours you can put in once a month, once a couple of months, whatever it may be, you could probably come up with something pretty good because they know what they're doing. Whereas, if you're trying to do it yourself, a little every day is going to help build that skill set that you need to close that gap between what you can do and what you want to do and what you think you should be able to do, which is up here. Sorry, I'm going out of screen. Up here. So that's the other thing. So if you do have more time, so if you do have in the morning, you have an hour, or in the evening, whatever time you decide to work on your creative thing, rather than spending the whole time just making music, just trying to make a track, how about splitting that time up into sections? Put a timer on. I use a multi-timer. Always have done. Not always have done, but again, for a very long time. As soon as it became a regular habit, I started using a timer. So put a timer on. If say you've got an hour, that's 3 sections, 3 20-minute sections. First 20 minutes, just make stuff, just whatever you can make. Second 20 minutes, you can tweak. So tweak on something you've already made. Not the same thing. Go back to a track you've already started. Start tweaking that. Try and make it improvements on it. Any ideas you've had for that track, you can make ideas on it. Third 20 minutes, you can spend, if you're using hardware, which I am, jamming, rehearsing tracks you've already got, or the stuff you're working on, whatever. Just trying different things out, see what works, see what doesn't work. So you've got a bit of a structure to enable you to move forward in multiple areas every day. So you're not just working on the same thing all the time. If you don't have enough time to split into sections, then 10 minutes, just make something, make anything. Just try, and you'll find after some time. I have friends who never made a track in their life, started a couple of years ago, a year ago, and now they're making tracks that I hear and I think, how are they doing that? How are they doing that already? So much better than I've been able to do in the past, and better than what I'm doing now a lot of the time. So it does go a long way, and it doesn't take that too much time because the time goes by anyway. So you might as well use it doing something that's gonna help and make you feel better. So what's next? So I reckon it's enough chat. I'm gonna work on some music now. Actually, before I go, I'm not going anywhere, but before I move over to here and make some music, this is the last time I'm going to be streaming across multiple platforms at once. So if you are watching this anywhere other than YouTube, then do head over to YouTube and subscribe there. Like it as well if you like it. Subscribe there because I'm going to be putting a lot more content out, a lot of videos. See if I can get some viewers to the live stream rather than me just talking to the camera. Get some viewers. Subscribe over on YouTube. I'm going to put more stuff out on there. I do videos as well. I'm going to be doing more videos about creativity, about making music, my music and your music. So do go over there, and thanks for joining me on the other platforms if you have. Okay, so let's switch over to the equipment. Where's my camera switch? Here we go. I'm going to move the mic as well, so bear with me while things are going to go quiet for a second. Okay, so here's my setup, and as I say, let me introduce you to the band as I always do. So over here we have drums and bass and synthy bits. Middle one, so that's the Syntakt, the Elektron Syntakt. Over here we have the Digitone, which is my kind of lead melodic parts. Here we have the Digitakt, and this is for percussion and incidental parts, as I like to call them. So synthesizers, and percussion, and that kind of thing. And what we're going to work on. So this is a track I've been working on recently, and something I'll tell you is something you've got to be very careful of, especially with hardware, is to make sure you're saving properly and correctly, and try and either back up to your computer or back up the patterns to another bank of patterns, because you have multiple banks and each bank has multiple patterns. So copy, whatever you're working on kind of regularly, because if you accidentally delete everything from a pattern, which I did the other day on this track, you have to recreate it, start fresh, and it's never quite as good when you do it again. Sometimes it can be. So I've decided to up the tempo a bit recently. I don't know what, I think maybe having Nina in the studio last month doing some techno got me thinking, I do like it a bit faster, especially when you're performing and you're playing it, especially with groove boxes like this. It's more conducive to faster music, more kind of techno, because techno is stuff made with boxes, or that's where it came from, and that's why it sounds like it does, and why it has the elements it has, and the pattern structure. So I decided to go a bit quicker. Still same kind of sound, still very deep, still quite atmospheric, lots of bleeps and plinky bits and effect sounds, and but quicker and more loopy and more groovy. So this is one I've been working on, so I'm going to use this as a starting point. So we use this as a starting point. Well, I say starting point. I've already made a start. So we're going to move the patterns. Sorry, change patterns. We're going to keep the same preset on the Blackbox. And we're just going to either reuse the sounds or change them up as and when. Get all the mutes. So far, we've got this. So not a lot going on yet. We've got a kick, we've got a bass. Hello, Jay. Big shout to Jay Hill. So, kick and bass. I think we've got something on here as well. Quite contrasting sound. feel. And weirdly, I've done this in a major scale, which is unusual for me. Sounds quite nice, quite melancholy, quite gentle for a track that's 128 BPM, which is nice. So it means we can add quite a lot of contrast with some kind of more techie bits. So let's go and put some percussion over here. Put some of that. That's quite nice. Bit of quantize to that, I think. Back over to the Syntakt. And that is sitting exactly on the same point as the bit I just put in. Last hit, maybe not. Maybe just bring the velocity down that last hit. Won't sound so bad. And maybe not every phrase. So we've got a 4-bar phrase here. At the moment it's happening at the end of everyone. So if we change that and do that every couple of times maybe. What we need as well, we need something else in here to let us know that the end of the phrase is coming or has arrived. So at the moment, this one is the reversed ride I use. So let's stick that beginning of the bar and let's do it every 4 phrases. I do like that, that's quite nice. Random. So the other thing I wanted to talk about this month is randomness. So as you can see here, this LFO is set to trigger different samples. Every time you hit it, it's triggering something else because the LFO is changing sample selection. So if we put something in, maybe not there. Maybe there. And that'll be something different each time. Or maybe not. Depends on the speed, I guess, of the LFO and the shape of it. So let's change that. Let's change it to random. Doesn't seem to be doing much. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, take the melody out for a bit. The other great thing about these boxes is the ability to randomize each of these pages. So if I go here's the synth page and then press yes, it will randomize the whole page and give me something a little bit different. Check we're in the right scale on this box. For some reason not getting anything on here, so I'm going to have to select a sound. Change the length of the phrase. Spooky. Ooh, I like that. Very spacey. So let's change the timing of that. The trigger for these. Make sure these are only playing every second time round. Like that. Some more spooky bits from this one. Give us a break from that other bit. Ghost snare hit. Timing of this we need to change this because the quantize for it is too wide, too far apart. The step's too far apart if you have it on half measure speed, so we have to record that back in again. So when we've got a snare or a clap in there, that should sit nicely. Yes, Mackie 170. Is that you, James? Right, so that is annoying me, that going on too many times. Every other time. Maybe, yes, maybe, baby. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, so back to the Syntakt. Put something else in there. And I really like this sound. It's like a little kind of bass blip, if you like. Quite a bit of resonance on it. So we can stick that in, add a bit to the groove. Nice little hiccup to the groove there. Save that. So we've got our 3 parts on our Digitone now. I don't know what they sound like all together, but let's give it a try. Not great. So this track will be separate sections. These 2 parts will play together. This bit can be a contrasting section. Maybe if we drop down to the kick, the bass elements. Or maybe a break. Yeah, it's a contrasting section. Doesn't really work with anything else. Thank you, James. He says it's sounding wicked. We're getting there. Right, so 4th part on the Digitone. Let's change the scale. Let's get major. That's what stick with the major scale because everything else is major. Doesn't it sound weird? There's no sound on there yet, so let's find a pad, shall we? Do like a pad. So we can filter on here. Go to pad. Oh, that didn't work. Pad, yes. Okay. That'll do. So we could try it in chord mode and see what that sounds like. Now again we've got slightly too short pattern, so we're going to take that off. Change the pattern to full length 4-bar pattern, and then we can go back. Not long enough, that pattern, so we're going to half the scale so we have twice as long. Try that again. Start again. And I'm finding it a little bit too bassy, so we're going to take off a little bottom end now. Weirdness going on there, but whoa. Sounds like a really terrible fart. I don't know what's happened there. That's not too bad, I guess. Not a massive fan of that sound, to be honest. So let's see if we can. No, we can't. Random it up. Okay, let's try. It's a bit gentler. Let's try that. Quite nice though. Oh, nice one, James. Yeah, the little Era, isn't it? The Roland Era RD6. Wicked little drum machine. I did have the Era S1 originally before I got the Digitone, but Elektron boxes, they don't like playing well. They don't like playing with other boxes that well, but they love playing together, so I had to take the plunge and Spank the credit card. That's not too bad. Again, nice contrast. So we got some more sounds over here. I'm delaying putting the drums in, by the way. If you're wondering, why is there no drums in this? Because as soon as you put the drums in, it goes, yeah, everything sounds great. And it's then hard to put other stuff too. So what I also like to do for performing is to have different sections. So because I'm not using song mode, I'm not pre-programming how the track plays. I'm programming what the sounds do, I guess, and loops. So I'm using a lot of mutes and unmuting to perform the actual arrangement of the track. Yes, Steve. Sounds like a plan. Did I say yes, Steve? I mean, yes, James. Sounds like a plan. Okay. So, I like to have this for one section, these three. This for another section. These I'll use for different sections. These four. And these four different sections, and then these are for, as I say, the kind of bits to help me to know what's going on, like that reverse riser, that reverse ride, I should say, using it as a riser. So let me know it's the end of the bar, so I need to change something. Okay, so I'm going to go to this section here. We've got something on 9, which is that whoop sound. Whoop. Oh, that's quite nice. Down here, sorry, these 4. That's a hi-hat, specific hi-hat machine, that one. These 3, they're analog, but they don't have a filter like these others, a second filter, like a low pass, high pass, or bass width filter, I should say. So with these, you can adjust the width of the bass, and then the other filter, you can then determine what part of that width you want to use. Whereas these don't have that bass width filter. So you have to send these channels. I send these 3 channels to the effects track here. So 9, 10, 11, they come to the effects track. The effects track has the filter, which you can then use for those. So make sure there's no real low end coming through. So we're going to do something. We've got that thing on 10 now. Come back out of the effects channel, which is at the beginning of the bar. That. So what we'll do, we'll put that just at the beginning of the bar, just so it's not happening on the beginning of the phrase. So every 4 bars. Sorry. Every 4 phrases. 4, 8, 12, 16 bars. Yeah, every 16 bars. So the first of every 16, that's going to be, oh, bollocks. I've gone and changed it. I should have saved it. So let's go back and record it again, shall we? Let me change the trigger again. So one every 4 bars, every 4 phrases, and then save. Don't forget to save. Again, just incidental sounds. Okay, so we've got the 4 parts here. We're going to go over here, get some more bits on here. Selecting, trying to select a sound at random here. Oh, actually, I've actually got a sample. So I've got a shaker sample here somewhere. So let's do that. So I recorded previously. Where is it? Right down the bottom. Shaker. And then what we can do, each of these steps I can assign a different sample, so to add a bit of variety. So let's play this on its own. So I'm just trying to find different samples from this loop that I recorded and use my shaker. Okay. Maybe a bit of delay. Let's check some drums in, shall we? Thanks, James. Okay. Carried away there, hit my head in the camera. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's about it for now. How long are we going for? Oh, over an hour. That's not too bad. Okay, so I'll add some bits and bobs to this, some edits, some fills, and that'll be that done pretty much. So thanks for joining me, those of you who did. Hope you got something from this. I know I did, because it gives me an hour to just literally focus on my music, which is 50 minutes more than I get each day. No, tell a lie, 'cause I do 10 minutes in the morning and I do 10 minutes in the evening. Let me just move my mic over. So, yes, so I do 10 minutes in the morning, every morning. Sometimes it's not until the afternoon, the weekend, but hey ho. It's 10 minutes in the morning, and I just do, that's my creating stage, so I just splurge ideas. So I'll load up whatever I'm working on, splurge a new thing, not go back to something that I've done before, worked on already. No, tell a lie. I will work on the same track multiple times, 'cause it takes more than 10 minutes to make a track, admittedly. I have made tracks in 10 minutes less. But I'm taking a bit more time. There's no rush here. You work at your own speed. So I'll do 10 minutes in the morning. And then in the evening before bed, I will come in and do 10 minutes jamming. So I'll just jam other tracks, 2 tracks together, try and get some kind of a set going. And then I can link all those 10 minutes together at some point into a full set. So being able to do this once a month and spend at least an hour talking to you, if there's anyone out there, and making music for an hour. So it's an indulgence, and I appreciate those of you who popped in to say hello, and for those of you watching after the fact. But as I said before, I'm not going to be streaming on Facebook and Twitch and where else would I do? Mixcloud going forward. I'm just going to focus on YouTube. So do head over to YouTube / at Darien JDJ. Link I'll put in the description. So just head over and subscribe there. I am putting stuff up there that you may find helpful. My thoughts on creating music, or creativity in general, but my specific experience with making music, and videos, and obviously the live stream every second Sunday of the month. So thanks again. I look forward to seeing you next month, and do drop a comment if you have any questions or anything really, and I'll catch you next time.